Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. My name is Whitney Baldwin and today we will be doing some board and batten wainscoting like you see on the wall behind me. So if that is something you want to learn how to do, then just keep watching. It is thunderstorming outside and it is like a sauna in here, but you know what? It feels great. This, guys, was originally paneling and I tried to skim coat it, and I did skim coat it. I skim coated all of these walls, and when I went to prime it, this is what happened. So I sanded it down and primed it again. I sanded it down, skimmed it again, and primed it again and did the same thing. So now that I have completely wasted my life on this, my solution is to put board and batten up. Then I think I'm going to put a black and white 12 print wallpaper up and then keep the black frames around the windows with the board and batten in white. You are going to want a compressor and a either finish nailer or a brad nailer. This is just my Boss Stitch pancake compressor and just a little 18 gauge brad nailer. I love this thing. Yes, it's great. And you're gonna need obviously some brad or finish nails. You're gonna want a level to make sure that your battens are straight up and down, some caulk and some liquid nails. I like this stuff. It's called plastic wood. I use it to fill in the nail holes. This stuff dries really, really quickly and it sands down to look just like wood. These are the two whites that I've been working with. There is the Behr interior semi-gloss enamel in regular white, and then the interior satin enamel in ultra pure white. The satin is less shiny than the semi-gloss, but the satin ultra pure white is way more white than the regular white on the left. The white on the left has a little bit more of a gray tone, but the ultra pure white is white, white, white. So I'm gonna do a little test here and see what I end up liking more, and I will let you know. All right guys, so real quick, I'm gonna go over some of these saws you may need to complete this project. This is a table saw. These are great for ripping down your battens. I did a 3-inch batten and then 1.5-inch battens. These are gonna go along the edge of the door to kind of frame that out. This is a chop saw. So you're gonna wanna use this to cut down the corners of either, you can miter down the corners like this of your top rail or your baseboard if you're gonna use a 1x4 for that. This is a circular saw or a skill saw. I use this to cut down my battens to the proper length. And this is a jigsaw. This is what you're gonna use to kind of cut out the areas for your outlets or your light switches or any detailed cuts that you need to make. You're gonna need some wood. I stuck with 1/4-inch plywood. You can use MDF or you can use particle board. I just stuck with 1/4-inch sanded pine plywood. I use this as the backing that goes along the wall, and I also use it as the wood for my battens when I ripped down the battens. So as you can see, it is the same thing, but I like, I kind of like the feel of it. I feel like particle board or MDF might be a little too thin. On this little section of wall between the door jamb and this little cubby, as you can see, there is my 1/4-inch plywood that I'm using to cover up the wall. And then this is my 1x4 chair rail, I think it's called, that is gonna go here. All right, now you guys can kind of see the difference. I painted the chair rail with the white, and then I painted that board down now with the ultra pure white. So you can see that this one is a tad bit more gray in tone than the board itself. I think I'm gonna go with ultra pure white for everything. This is a 1x4 that I cut down the corners on, and I'm gonna use as my baseboard because there is, as you can see, no baseboard. So this house is 1,000,000 years old and there is not a right angle in here to save its soul. I did 3-inch battens, so this is cut down to 1.5 inches, and I'm going to be using that to kind of hide the unevenness of this wall. Boom, you'll never know. After you put up your boards that act as a wall covering, you're going to want to install your baseboards if you don't have any already. I'm using a simple 1x4 to do this. Next, you're going to want to mark your batten from the top of the baseboard to the bottom of the top rail.
I like to measure and make all of my cuts at the same time, so make sure you number each board to not get confused. I placed my battens 16 inches apart on center, but you have creative freedom to place them as far apart as you'd like. I like to use liquid nails for extra security. Once you get your first nails in the top, use your level to make sure that the batten is straight before continuing to nail.
All right, so we're gonna caulk in the gaps here because this wall is not straight. So there are gonna be gaps, and then there might be some gaps along the battens. But caulk, get one that has a, that's white up here. Caulk can be a little bit confusing. Make sure you look at the color up here. Sometimes they're white, sometimes they're clear. But then just kind of look at what it's for, and this is for trim, windows, crown molding, so this is definitely gonna work for us. Now you're gonna wanna find a caulking gun. This is really cheap. I think I picked this up for about $7. So this little hole right here is actually a cutter, so it'll cut the tip of your caulk off for you. So just kind of stick it in there and ta-da, there you go. You got a nice little hole where the caulk is going to come out. So to load the gun, you're going to pull this back, lay your tube in there, and then squeeze until you start to get some of the product out of the top. There we go. Then you're going to want to depress this every time you're finished laying a bead of caulk, because it will continue to release the product. Have a wet rag, a damp towel on you so you can get away the excess, and then you can caulk in all of your trim.
You can simply use your finger or a damp rag to distribute the caulk evenly. This plastic wood dries down in a matter of seconds, and you can pretty much sand down the excess with your finger while applying it.
It is the next day, and I have let my plastic wood and my caulking dry. I'm going to go ahead and go in and use a sanding block to just sand down the, this nail filler just a little bit, and then I'm going to go ahead and go in with some paint. Alrighty guys, so here it is. This is the Board and Batten wainscoting that I'm finally done with in this section of the room. I am not done with this room, but I'm loving how it's coming along. I did 3-inch battens with 1x4 top nailer and baseboard. By the door I cut the batten in half, so that's a 1.5 inch to frame on the sides of the doors. Guys, I'm loving this. I still got some work to do in here. Got to change those outlets, clean and paint the floor, finish my trim work, but it's coming along, and I hope if you do something like this, please tag me on Instagram or Twitter and let me know how it comes out, and please like and subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next one. Mwah. Bye.